Competition is king around here, if y'all can't tell.
Oh yeah, we not playing.
Alex, we're not even gonna talk about Alex.
Ross, don't talk. Drink your water. You better hydrate now, because you look thirsty.
We ain't even gonna talk about Alex.
Hey,
that's why.
Don't bring that back. I don't want to do it to you.
That's why he had to play. That's why he had to play.
You know, Ross ain't he's not.
I'm not
that guy.
Offense is not
I'm
his.
a defensive guy. I'm a defensive guy.
But this game, Ross was dropping buckets. At this point, you know me, I'm like, Alex, play defense.
He said, come on.
This is my teammate, Alex. But from my point of view, Alex started watching videos on how to shoot.
He pulled the YouTube out.
And his shot still.
And then he went
broke.
upstairs. He used to go practice his shot. And the joke is, and it's kind of true, he went to practice for Ross.
Yeah.
First off, that was my second time at the gym when they caught me practicing.
Okay.
So he went multiple times.
Yeah.
So you just so happen to catch him that one time.
That's be strong.
No. So these dudes take it too far.
I wasn't my first time. I was practicing 2 days for Ross.
No.
That's crazy.
I play organized. Dudes play organized basketball, and you think I'm gonna go look on YouTube now to play against you of all people who don't know basketball?
That's crazy.
This is the XenHouse Podcast. We're on episode 32.
3-2.
We moving
for sure.
This is your boy, the one and only Des Hines.
Your boy, A. Joe.
And Ross B.
Okay.
I'm back, baby.
Not bad, Joe.
I'm back.
Not bad.
I'm back.
That was all right, but not bad.
Yeah, it's better than the other days. Today we got a special guest. Me and this dude go way back to Westover Elementary. Kindergarten. Dude always been tall, taller than most folks. We grew up together for the most part. We went to separate middle schools, connected back in high school, played basketball together. We were the 2 captains our senior year. You know, he's a real baller. I was an athlete, so I just did it all.
You never really want to touch the football field, huh?
He never wanted to touch football. Sometimes you just gotta know. You just gotta know what you're good at and what is not for you. Then after that, after college, he continued on with his brand. He started something that we're gonna talk about, One Up Institute, where he helps young kids develop their talents and become game-ready basketball players. He's still here helping the community, helping the kids. He's giving back. The one and only Jeff Desir.
Sir.
Number 32. Number 32,
first
too.
intro, boy.
That's my first intro.
Appreciate that.
I got you, yo.
All right.
So, Jeff.
So, Des.
Talk to us. What does basketball mean to you?
What does basketball mean to me? So, basketball is everything to me.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't be doing what I was doing without basketball. I wouldn't have made the connections that I've had, relationships, right? Like, my life still to this day revolves around basketball. There's nothing that I don't do that doesn't correlate some way, somehow with basketball, whether it's my relationship with my wife, being married, right? Like I traveled all the way to Spain for a basketball trip, ended up meeting my wife. I've had best friends that I've met over in China, Beijing, because of basketball. I've been able to go to college because of basketball. I've been able to change my life and also the lives of different kids because of basketball, right? So I owe everything to the game, and everybody that helped me along the way, for sure.
That's dope.
I wouldn't call it a game for you. I'd call it a lifestyle.
A lifestyle, yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
So how did you come up with the name One Up, and what does that mean, the meaning behind it?
So One Up is really just me, right? Like I feel like I'm the missing key, right? I'm that piece of the puzzle that if you add me to it, everything should go how it should, right? So One Up is being one up on the competition and also one up on yourself, right? So when you become one up, especially on yourself, it has a lot to do with just responsibility, right? So when you have talent as a basketball player, there's a responsibility that comes with that, right? And my job is to really push you towards your goals and dreams, right? And then with my expertise, I can help you get one up on the competition, right? Because I've traveled basketball, I've played basketball. I know what it takes to get to the next level. I've seen it, right? So there's a lot of people who can say, hey, do this, do that. I've seen basketball all over the world, 3 different continents, right? The US right here, Asia, and I've also seen it in Europe. So I know pretty much the whole landscape. I know what coaches are looking for. I know what scouts are looking for. And most importantly, I know what these kids are looking for, right? Because I've traveled that route.
Yeah, so when did One Up like officially start for you? Like, was it something that, you thought of like 5 years ago? Was it something that, because we thought of XenHouse like 10 years ago. How did that come about?
So it's funny because like I've been doing basketball since I was in college, right? So I went to Rhode Island College out in Providence. Ended up tearing my ACL my sophomore year, which kind of hindered just like my ability. So I didn't really play too much. But I always stuck in the game of basketball. I used to work at Providence College basketball camps, University of Vermont. So I really started getting like an itch, like, okay, I can't play basketball, but how can I impact the game, right? How can I still be in the game? So I used to work different camps. I've learned from many different coaches. And then I moved back home and I started working with different programs. And I just felt like, you know what, there was more that I could do, right? There was different stuff that the companies that I worked with, like they had their own agendas on what they want the basketball to look like versus what I wanted the basketball to look like, right? That was 2 different things. So we started in the pandemic, right? The pandemic was really one of those things.
Was jumping.
Yeah, the pandemic was jumping, right? But that was one of those things where like, it was a moment in time where we had to figure it out. Right, there was one of those things where like, jobs were shut down, people didn't know what to do, right? People were kind of on edge, like, I don't want to stay in the house, I got to figure it out. But then I also kept thinking like, what are my players doing? Right, we can't get into the gym right now. How can we still continue to work? Because we didn't know when the band would be off or like when is the next time things like this was a week to week kind of thing. So what I did was 3 years ago, I had a friend, Phil D'Amico. Shout out to Phil.
Shout out to
Phil. He had a tennis court in his backyard, right? So what we ended up doing was just converting that tennis court into really what I've always envisioned basketball should look like, feel like, and be, right? So we added extra hoops out there. We had 3 hoops out there. We went to friends and family houses. We got a whole bunch of weights, a whole bunch of whatever we can use. We did makeshift boxes. Like some of them, didn't last, but some did. We ended up getting like some sand, making sand pits. But like with my experience, I always wanted to have a one-stop shop, right? It's like sort of like XenHouse, right? XenHouse is a one-stop shop. You come here, you can work on your speed, your agility, your strength, and you don't even have to walk out the door. You can just step back here and get the recovery done, right? So this is a place.
Shout out to Jeff for the plug, yo.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, but this is a place where like an athlete comes and you don't really need anything else, right? But that also comes from your history of like you as an athlete, what you have like been through, what you would want, right? So how you guys curate this place may not be like an investor, right? Because like how it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to feel, right? So same thing with me. I knew how it was supposed to look, how it was supposed to feel, and I just brought all my ideas just out, right? So when we did that, it was one of those things where it was a blessing, right? Because I had also another great guy in the community, Chris Evans, right? A Stanford legend as well.
Chris.
Chris.
You know what I'm saying? I had him.
Second best receiver after me.
Let you tell it, right? But one of those things was, it was a day where we came together. We was like, yo, do you think we can do this? I was like, yeah, for sure. So we went out and we got the balls rolling. It started with maybe 10 kids. Then the next day, 15, and then the numbers started growing, and we got groups of 20, 30 kids in there in the pandemic, right? Because granted, at that time, there was nowhere for people to go. So there's only one place for you to go. But that was the time that like I've been in some really good basketball environments, but this one was like one of the best, right? Because then now you got good basketball players with good backgrounds, right? So then now it's like iron sharpening iron, right? So Chris is doing a good drill. I'm like, yo, shit.
I gotta step it up.
Y'all gotta step it up. He sees me stepping up. He's like, okay, I got to step it up. And then that energy transfers around the kids, right? So then now you start seeing kids just dig in and go that extra like mode, right? And then since then, we've been fortunate enough to have, 3 years of basketball camps, camps and clinics as well. This past summer, I was able to take a few of my players out to Spain, Madrid, for the summertime. I got them into the gyms, really just gave them a whole basketball experience, right? A lot of people can tell you something. I'm more the guy, I can show you better, I can tell you. So I got them in there with professional coaches, professional players, and they really got that experience. And they came back, and you could see the hunger in their eyes.
Me personally, we had the experience. Like, I had my nephew going there.
Yeah.
Ty was going up there. We was taking that drive. We was trying to do anything to get Ty to be active. You know what I mean? He wanted to play basketball, and I saw Jeff doing it, and we were like,
gotta get a part of that.
Let's do yeah, let's get it. And we brought him up there, and he was working 3-4 days a week. It was dope, for sure.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about the connection with Spain, like how you initially got there and how that's pretty much your second home now?
Yeah, so Spain was just one of those things where, like, it just happened, right? Just taking a risk, going out there. Like, one of the biggest things I can tell people is, like, you should, number one, you should travel. Travel as much as you can. The sooner, the better, right? And just taking risks, right? There's a lot of times where people hesitate to do different things. And on the other side of fear is usually whatever you're looking for. So I had a friend, Lamont Thomas, out of Providence. He was the 2013-2014 NCAA leading scorer 2 years in a row. He ended up getting a contract out in Spain. And at that time, I was actually going through just a few just like mental health situations, just like feeling like, lost, trying to figure out like where I am in the whole landscape of things.
Yep.
So it ended up just being a trip where I was going out there just to get away. I ended up training him for the preseason while I was out there. And then a few of his players wanted to jump into workouts. Then the coach got a word out like, oh, there's a guy over here that's training, doing different stuff. And he was just like, how can I keep you here? And unfortunately, I was already working with a program down here, already had commitments, right? Which was a sticky situation.
Very sticky.
I told the coach, hey, listen, what I'll do is my season's over in March. As soon as my season's over, I'll come right back to you guys. And I kept my word. I went back there and I actually helped them win the second division in the Spain like basketball, right? So then now after you win a division, you automatically get bumped up to the next one, right? So they went from second all the way to first. And after that, I got a job offer to go back and I took it,
That's what's up. First off, I want to say, I guess we all have a connection to Spain now. So we got to take XenHouse to Spain.
That's it.
You got a connection, we got a connection.
That's
how it's supposed to be.
I'm saying we got a
I'm
connection.
just making the choice clear. And I'm looking at Alex, but I'm talking to Jeff.
I ain't never been there before. I'm just trying to go to Spain.
I'm trying to see
what that be like.
All the paella you can eat, the most friendly people in the world. It's just one of those things where like you have to go, right? Have to travel, have to go, see it for sure.
Now, what does a typical camp look like for you?
So the typical camp looks like for me, like we break it down, it's a 4-hour camp, right? So we usually go early in the morning. We start off with just stations, right? These stations pretty much go from the fundamentals of basketball, right? Shooting, passing, dribbling, right? And I also incorporate some game situations, right? I like to mix it up and do some competitive stuff towards the end, but really my whole emphasis when I train is intentional training. Right, I'm not the guy that's going to have you do something that I know you're not going to do in the game, right? And I also know what is effective in the game, right? So I'm not going to say, hey, go between your legs 3 times and go behind the back, spin, and shoot the basketball, right? A lot of times these kids, they don't understand the game of basketball, how simple the game is, right? And you want to simplify it as much as you can, right? And I learned that also overseas. It's one of those things is, if I can get by you, Ross, like I always do, with one dribble, right? Why am I going to waste my time dribbling the ball 3-4 times when I can get by you once?
Hold on. We gotta stop.
Now we know.
Because I was gonna get to that. There's beef here, guys.
Now we know I got the best defense in here, right?
I mean, that's debatable.
So
It might be debatable, but because you caught the lockdown
Hey,
too.
come on.
But Jeff, we gotta get back. We gotta come back.
but Jeff,
We gotta come back. We gotta come
Hold
back.
on. For those of you who don't know, we play pickup together all the time.
Look at
Jeff and Ross are usually guarding each other, or Ross and Alex. But more recently, it's been Jeff versus Ross.
Yo, this dude came out with heat.
He came out with heat, but he kept.
Jeff.
He tried to keep the whole conversation going.
Like nothing happened. Like nothing happened.
yo,
So-
I'm just.
So, how do you see him as a player? Just overall, playing defense on you or whatever.
So he calls it defense, but we was saying call it something else.
Okay.
Ross likes to just get up and down a little bit. Like, I just like to make him feel comfortable, right? But when it's game time, he knows I get that rock, a little pat, a little shimmy. I go this way, Ross goes that way, the ball goes in the basket,
that's
and we're
how it
out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. Just like that.
Wow.
What do you think?
saw that So the last time we played, right?
Yep.
Remember he came down, he got his little bucket,
Yeah.
right? What happened the next play is that because we was on the same team.
Well, I don't know if because there's a bunch of times. I don't
ball
know.
was sent.
I'm gonna tell you what
to the
happened
I
this
other
remember
side.
there was one time you were like, "Yeah, now you're done."
Okay. And what happened?
He dribbled the ball down the court.
No buckets.
Before he even got to the basket, before the
Oh, I
ball left
remember
his head, this guy will call a foul before the foul even happens.
yeah. Slap.
He said,
slap.
"Yeah." He said, "Yeah."
Yeah, slap,
Okay.
slap.
We need to
Anticipated.
play-by-play
But
when
let
we
me
do
tell
pickup,
you,
y'all.
Des, we was on the same team.
Yeah.
What happened when Ross locked in?
I remember he did block you. He blocked you.
I said, it's over.
It's over. No more.
Okay.
No
He
more
keeps talking
points.
to himself in third person too. Yeah, when Ross locks in. See that?
Yo,
You know
that's
what happened.
hilarious. It's
Competition
so
is
funny.
king around here, if y'all
Oh
can't
yeah.
tell.
Oh yeah. We not playing.
Alex, we're not
contagious.
even going to talk about Alex.
Ross, don't talk. Drink your water. You better hydrate now because you look thirsty.
We ain't even going to talk about
Okay.
Alex.
Hey,
That's why.
Don't bring that back. I don't want to do it to you.
That's why he had to play.
Yo.
That's why he had to play.
Don't bring it back. I don't want to do it to you now.
Hey.
Hey, listen.
It's Jeff Day. Should we talk about Alex?
But that's funny. If you wanna kill Alex,
You
can
remember
kill
how I
him.
had Alex practicing upstairs?
Oh,
at
I remember
Desir's?
that.
Dude's
All right, so
feeling good 'cause
backstory
I had
about-
free time.
See?
Yo, Jeff, now you're a basketball guy. You tell me.
So backstory.
You
we
tell
gotta
me
talk
about
about
this.
it. So it was myself and Alex versus Ross and Jono. Shout out to Jono.
Shout out to
2-1-2.
Jono, my
And
dog.
I think we won 1 or 2 games. We were feeling good, and then I think I was locking Jono up. So Ross had to be the
The guy
to score. And you know, Ross ain't he's not.
He really that guy.
Offense is not
I'm a
his.
defensive guy.
He's right.
I'm a defensive guy.
But
It's
this
fine.
game, Ross was dropping buckets.
Yo, give
he
him
was
buckets.
hitting shots, whatever. So at this point, you know me, I'm like, Alex, play defense.
He said, "Come on,
Do something.
Right,
Do
I'm
something.
talking. So they ended up beating us one
Crazy.
game. They might have beat us 2. They might have beat us 2 games. So the shit talking was at its height. They talking back and forth. I'm just gonna tell you because now this is my teammate Alex, but from my point of view, Alex started watching videos on how to shoot.
He pulled the YouTube out.
And his shot still.
And then he
still
went
broke.
upstairs. He used to go practice his shot. And the joke is, and it's kind of truth, he went to practice for Ross.
Yeah.
Is that not
That's
real?
life.
But it happens
Alex,
like that.
what do you
First
gotta
and
say?
foremost.
He plays basketball like a football player. That's what he
Well,
does.
we-
he goes.
You know I don't shoot like that. Now I don't shoot like I used to.
How you shoot? Show me.
Like, feel
Oh,
me?
he been watching the YouTube now. He's starting to shoot.
Start watching it.
First
All right,
off,
makes sense.
It
First
all
off,
makes sense.
Okay.
First off, that was my second time at the gym when they caught me practicing.
Okay.
Okay.
So he went multiple times.
Yeah.
So you just don't happen to catch him that one time.
That's be strong. Be strong.
No. So see, these dudes take it too far. now.
I wasn't my first time. I was practicing 2 days
No.
for Ross.
No.
That's crazy.
Before we even started playing pickup, I went up
Nah,
there.
yo, you fried.
What?
You
Who?
fried, yo.
Who?
You
Who
fried.
fried?
You fried. You
Who
fried.
fried?
What are you saying?
I was up there with athletes before. You used to bring athletes up there, and
Okay.
I was up there before we played that game.
Okay.
That was my second time doing that when I had free time. So dudes thought I was practicing. Nobody's practicing.
I don't know.
I was doing the same
fried.
shit.
Yeah,
You do what you do. You
I
just
was
do
doing the same
Listen,
shit. But now dudes practicing.
Listen, I'm gonna say for sure you were going up there with athletes.
First
but
off-
you were not watching. You didn't have your phone out, Alex, like this, set up and being like.
No, because
being
that's
like-
because that's not how I do. You know,
All right.
Until you let him have it
don't
that
do
day,
that. That's
then
how
you
you
have
know.
to-
Yeah.
That's how
get
you
it
know you're
together.
lying. Because I
Okay.
don't do that. I've never put the phone down to focus on something to do it. That's
Okay.
He had to
Guys.
get it together.
guys.
Yo, we should. You know who we need to call is who is working
Who's
there?
around?
Who is working
Call
at
Wes.
security? Wes. We
Call
gonna
Wes.
Call Wes.
Call Wes.
Wes had pulled up the film
Of buddy practicing?
of you practicing. Yo, I promise you, Wes showed it to us.
Listen, I will put $1,000 down there. I've
not
never
even-
put
not
my phone
See.
down to watch
going
film.
to-
Yeah, how can
It's
you?
always
but
your-
how
yo,
can you
put
prove
some money
that?
on it. I got some
How
money
can
on
you
it.
prove that?
I can prove it by everything I've done. There's things I don't know how to do. I don't put the phone down. I've never
Alex,
put
but
the.
there's
You think
no
of basketball?
proof.
I played basketball,
We can't
Russ.
go back 3 years
Yo,
and look at film.
but I played
Now y'all see what happens. Now you
Dudes
see it.
play organized basketball, and you think I'm gonna go look on YouTube now to play against you of all people who don't know basketball?
That's crazy.
You know what? Yo, Ross,
It's not even worse.
This dude, Ross,
It's not even worse.
That's even
Yeah,
worse.
'cause I was
Because why would I do that?
Yeah, look, I'm
You might have to check it up right now. You might have to check up.
Under the basket.
Layup, Alex. Oh.
Luck,
Buckets. Oh,
luck,
Yeah.
yo. It's all luck, Ross.
that should hurt. It burned.
It don't burn, yo. I know where I'm at, and I know Ross is not making me practice.
Okay.
Football, soccer, baseball, you name
That was
it.
all
Yeah, okay.
He ain't like that.
Anything.
He ain't like
He's
that.
not like that.
Okay.
He's a great defender.
That joint burned.
Listen, Judge, you know, you played against him.
Yeah.
If it's not Hack City, Smack City, it's not happening.
See?
You feel me? But then when you do it to him, he foul.
I don't get a chance. I don't even get a chance. So, yo,
But I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, all I'm saying is, dudes practice. There's one person here that could tell you.
Yeah.
There's another person that could tell you he was practicing. That's it.
Cool,
That's
I
all
wasn't
need.
practicing.
No, that he
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah.
practicing.
I was
That's all I'm
practicing.
saying.
It is what it is.
It
Listen,
is what it
at the
is.
end of the day, I still beat him. Feel me? After that.
How?
And then we played over there, beat him.
Played over where?
After school over there.
Stop. Okay. Stop.
Where else did we
so,
play?
okay. So you gave him a game.
Feel me? A game, a few games.
All
you
right,
know?
all right, yeah, that makes sense.
So
That makes
we
sense.
out.
Hey, guys, I'm the best defender around, so if you want to challenge, holla at your boy.
If you want to get fouled,
Can I take that from him?
play that one-on-one.
Okay.
Ross played corner, so I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
He's a little more on the aggressive side.
Yeah.
But in basketball, what's that called?
No, he
Fouled out.
No, Ross will foul out. There's no he'll foul out.
Nobody in here hacking.
But the reason it's okay is because it's football and football.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is what it is.
But when,
I don't know if that's real.
but when it comes down to real basketball, who will have more fouls?
Hacker.
One or two.
Coach Mo would love him.
Oh, he'll
Hacker.
I'm a hacker.
Hacker. Pete, the number one hacker. He's not even here right now. Because I've been living with scratches. You too.
Yo,
From
I
you.
don't hack.
This is your scratch. Okay.
Jeff,
Yo, wait, zoom in! Zoom in! Oh, yo, that's a
Yeah,
spot,
all
yo.
hackers.
He's looking
crazy.
too.
Yeah, that's
I'm a
crazy.
spy. Ross,
That's
I'm a
crazy.
hacker.
Well, we always played on the same team. I don't think we've ever gone against each other.
guard you. But
I don't
I'm
hack, yo. I'm not hacking
He don't want
nobody.
no smoke with you.
He know better.
Okay.
You know this how I'm not even in this
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You always want it
Anyways.
on your team. He's on your team.
On my team.
Okay. That makes sense.
But we're not gonna talk about that one game where we came back from. Okay, we ain't gonna talk about that game.
Yo, that was a nice one.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
But
We
I
gotta get
think
back to basketball.
We gotta
now.
get back, yo. It's always competition. That's how it should be. It's none of this. I'm gonna let you get this one. Nah, we playing and we trying to win. But I think it's about that time.
This is
We got questions.
We got questions?
I got answers.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you know we're gonna ask you a question. You just shoot it off, and then you let us know what you think off the top of the head. And if you want to explain it, explain real quick.
And I knew he was gonna do this to me too, right?
Oh, you know it.
That's why he said the question.
Yeah.
Yo, what we gonna
what we gonna talk about today?
All right, whatever,
All
man.
right, this one is.
Is it a skip or pass or I got
Nah,
an
you gotta
answer?
answer it.
Oh,
they're
man.
all,
Come
it's
on,
all
man. It ain't
doable.
that bad.
Yo, right now, who you taking, Jason Tatum or Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Buckets.
Right now, I am taking Jason Tatum.
You see what that boy been doing,
Yeah.
right?
Now explain that,
It's
because
3-2. It's 3-2.
there's people that's
There's people
taking
talking.
Jimmy, and it don't mean that Jimmy's bad. He's not a bad player. He's a beast. But right now, tell him why you're taking Tatum over Jimmy.
I'm taking Tatum over Jimmy just because of the full package, right? So what happens now is I think Jason Tatum is more skilled than Jimmy Butler. I think Jason Tatum has a better team than Jimmy Butler, right? But on the other side of that, I feel like Jimmy Butler has more willpower than the entire Celtics team. And I think with Spoelstra being the head coach, and he may be the best coach in the NBA, right? So he's been there, done that. There's certain situations that you can't like really test them on, right? So I think right now I'm gonna go with Jason Tatum. I think they're on a roll right now, right? That momentum just keeps going, right? And now Miami got a few players that's, hurt. So I think that the Celtics, if they play like they played like the last couple of games, they'll be all right.
And now it's Boston's down. They're down, right?
They won 2.
It's
3-2.
3-2.
It's 3-2.
3-2.
It's 3-2.
So they'll be the
If
first team to come back from
If
if they do it.
Yeah.
All right.
It might
Hey,
happen.
hey, you
They
never
got
know.
the
Anything's
They
possible.
have the defense for it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They got the Ross defense. You see what I'm
They
saying?
got the Ross defense.
The Ross defense.
Next question. If you can go back and give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what's one thing you would tell your younger self?
One thing I tell my younger self is don't second guess, right? Just go. But like, there's a lot of stuff like you can always just do over, right? But there's one thing that you always got to do is just try, right? A lot of times, like, you might think you can't do something. You might think something's not for you, right? But at the end of the day, it's like you never know until you try, right? So my biggest thing is just fail. The worst thing that can happen is you're in the same position. The best thing that can happen is actually in the same place as a role.
Yep.
What's one common myth about what you do?
One common myth about what I do. That's a tough question to answer. I don't really hear that. Like, I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff, right? Like, I'm kind of in my own little bubble. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of things that I can improve on, but I don't really have seriously, I don't have an answer.
Like in regards to like coaching, right? Coaching or
Yeah,
just being a basketball
coaching
player.
basketball, I'm talking
Like
about,
what's a
like-
myth in regards to like, basketball coaches only work on shooting or something, anything along those lines? Any type of myths like that?
A myth, basketball myth. Let's just say that the player is more important than the coach.
I can see that. That makes sense.
Well, it just happened. I feel like it just happened, right? With the Phoenix Suns. They're thinking that they're choosing the team over the coach at
Yes.
this point. But like, if you think about it, you just traded away probably, arguably, your best defender
Yes.
to Brooklyn. Then Ayton, who had an issue and wanted to get up out of there, he had an issue with the head coach, and they got rid of the head coach because they didn't have the turnout. But like, you lost one of your star players. KD just came back from like injury. Like, how do you even have team chemistry to even go past the first round? You know what I'm saying? So I think they chose the players over the coach at that point.
And that's one of the things too, right? Because they both play like a pivotal part, right? Because now the coach Monty, he got fired, but that was probably one of the best coaches for the Phoenix Suns organization in years. He actually helped them get to where they were before. So before they got there, nobody was even talking about them, right? But that's one of those things that people also don't understand the game of basketball, the nuances, right? So the nuances, there's different pieces that have to align for you to be successful and for you to win the championship, right? So yes, the coach, right? The star players, the role players, right? But the role of a coach is to galvanize the team, right? It's to figure out how to get that chemistry together, right? To get these guys to give you their best, right? So it's tough.
So would you say that player over coach or coach over player is situational, or like, for instance,
Situational.
I was gonna say, if it's is it Tom Brady or is it Bill Belichick?
It's situational because some players can make a coach, and there's coaches that make the player, right? So you can have a player who's really talented, and it doesn't matter if Joe down the street's coaching him. That program is going to be successful whether or not this guy is here or that guy is here, right? But there's also the coach that can see the potential in a kid and hone in the skills and be like, listen, if you stick here, you do this, you do that, then you can reap the benefits of all that too, right? But that comes from experience, right? that takes an experienced coach to even know what he's looking at.
Right.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Next question. This is for the top point guard of all time position. Steph Curry or Magic Johnson?
Top point guard?
Top point guard.
Magic
all time.
Johnson.
You taking him over Steph?
Yeah, because Steph Curry is more of a combo guard, right?
He's still playing.
Yeah, but basketball now too is it's positionless basketball now, right? You got Jokic bringing up the ball. Jokic could be a point guard, right? Magic Johnson was a playmaker, right? Yeah. He's the one that sees it happening before it even happens, right? Steph Curry, he's the one that's making it happen.
Right.
Right. So Magic Johnson would be the guy that set up Steph Curry. Steph Curry's not the guy setting up these other guys.
Yeah.
Right. So the guy that sets them up on that Golden State Warriors team is Draymond.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the difference, right? So Steph's not even a point guard. Steph is a whole different monster.
Plays being called for him.
Yes.
Yeah, Steph I feel like he's changed the game
drastically
in regards to how you play it, how you see it, and how just people their mentality wise when it comes into it. You got kids fucking trying to pull up from anywhere.
Pulling up.
Yeah, but they're pulling up. But that's one of those things too, where like Steph is a generational talent. LeBron, Steph, Jordan, even Magic Johnson coming in there, right? But the thing with Steph is there's no other player like Steph Curry. Yeah, you might have a Dame Lillard who could shoot from the logo.
Yeah, but he's not doing that.
He's not handling the ball how Steph is handling the ball, right? But that's one of those things, as a player, you can take different stuff from different players to mold your game, but you can't necessarily just say, I'm going to be the next Steph Curry. There's only one Curry. There's only one LeBron.
Unless you Kobe.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But then these kids, then the first thing they do is, and I see with my own eyes, it's like they come into the gym, and the first thing they do, shoot from half court. They're not going to get a layup in there to see the ball go in. They're not going to take a little mid-range foul line shot to see the actual ball go in. Right? That's one of the biggest things. As a shooter, you need confidence, and you need to see the ball going in.
Yeah.
And these kids don't understand that. And that's my biggest gripe with them, is like the preparation. These kids, they don't understand really what it takes to get to the next level.
Next question. What's your biggest fear right now or in life?
My biggest fear right now, I would say not doing the things that I was meant to do. That's my biggest fear. And that just comes from fear, right? Just like how we talked about before. It's like just taking risks, making mistakes. Like now I'm just bumping my head every single time I go. And even with you guys, like I come here quite often and I'm just looking around, but like I'm just learning. I'm asking you questions. Hey, like, what do you think about this? Yo, what do you think about that? Like, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself and do what I feel like I was meant to do. And I'm slowly getting towards that and doing that. But, you know, I have to look at guys that are doing it and I'm taking, you know what I'm saying, little pieces as I go.
All right. Next question. Give me your top 5. Starting 5. All time. Basketball. We know what we're here to talk about. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward.
I have to put them in position, or I just put a 5 out there?
No, in position.
Or I just put a 5 out there?
Well, my position.
Okay, fine.
We're not going to be naming no, we're not going to be saying.
Okay. My point guard would have to be LeBron. I'm gonna put LeBron at the point.
Okay.
My shooting guard, I would have to put Curry. My small forward, I'm gonna put Jordan. My power forward, power forward would have to be, give me Tim Duncan.
Okay.
Yeah.
You made a good decision.
Nah, people would be sleeping on
I need
10.
somebody that's low maintenance that can still get it done, right?
You see who's about to, Tim Duncan about to work with, what's his name?
Yeah, Wembanyama, yeah.
He's about to be.
Yeah.
He's actually mentoring him, so he's
And then
already
I'm going to
good.
put as my 5, I need the big Aristotle,
Come on.
the big Diesel.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Best center all time.
Him.
Come on.
Shaq.
Can't pick anybody else.
Come on now.
Can't pick anybody else.
Next question. When it's all said and done, how do you want your brand, yourself, how do you want it to be remembered?
When it's all said and done, I just want it to be as authentic as possible. And I want it I just want it to be one of those brands that just stands on principle. That's one of the biggest things. Like with basketball right now, I feel like there's a lot of smoky mirrors, right? Like I'm the kind of person that I don't necessarily chase after players. I don't tell players I know it all. I know what I know, and I know it well. But that doesn't necessarily mean that what I do is going to transition well with you. I know that like different players want different fields of different stuff, which I'm totally fine with. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think like you can go to Des for agility. You can go to Ross for strength and conditioning. You can go to Alex for recovery, right? I have no problem with that. But I think now that basketball becomes such a global game, it's more geared towards the business aspect of things. And me personally, I'm more off the merit. Like, I just want a program that's built off merit. That's what I say. Like, this is not a pay-to-play program. This is a program, if you're good enough, then I want to help you get to where you want to go. Yeah. It's not one of those things where if I see a kid who doesn't have the ability,
you gotta be like, you're done with it.
Yeah, like, this is not for you, right? But then I also see the kids that have the ability, but then now the kids don't want the responsibility that comes with the ability, right? Because with the ability, it comes responsibility. I've been like reading up on like Lou Gehrig, like the old Yankee. And he's one of those dudes that just stuck hard to the game. He's like, I'm a professional, I have a responsibility. Every single day, I have to be the best version of myself. And unfortunately right now, accountability is tough. And these kids also have different voices, right? There's one guy saying this, one guy saying that. And I think the quickest way to like really just get that out the way is just understanding the history, right? Just like, if you want to learn basketball, I think you need to learn basketball from somebody that's traveled the roads that you're trying to go. And not from your cousin down the street who was a hood legend, right? Not from this guy who thinks he...
We just spoke about this the other day.
Yeah.
He's still really upset about it.
For real, but that's one of those things where just like, you need to be with somebody that's been there. If I want to be a football player, I'm not going to One Up Institute, right? I'm coming to XenHouse. I want lacrosse, I'm coming to XenHouse, right? And you guys are professionals of what you did. You guys were football players. Like, you know how it feels to get popped, right? And you know how it feels to pop somebody too, right? Yep. And that's one of the key things that these kids got to understand. It's just like, you know what? You got to go with somebody that's been there. And it's easy. It's easy to see, right? Because it's the resume, right? The biggest thing is the resume. And like, I'll end on this. It's like these kids now, like, they want to get recruited, right? The big thing with being recruited, the number one thing that these coaches are going to ask you is for film. All right. So it doesn't necessarily matter what school you went to, right? The first thing they want to know is, I want to see you, right? Then after the film, what happens is the grades, right? So film, grades. And then if all that stuff passes, then I want to see it in person. Yeah. All right. And then after I see it in person, I need to see the person. I need to say, hey, Ross, or I might call Des. Hey, Des, how's Ross?
What kind of person is
What kind of person he is, right? Because these kids don't understand how small the basketball circle and community is, right? So let's say Ross has a D1 player at his high school he's coaching. But Des is a Division III coach, but I'm a D1 coach. The circle's so small that Des might call me and say, hey, Jeff, the Ross got one over there. I can't get him, but you better hurry up because he's over there.
Yep.
Right? But a lot of these kids, like they go to the school thinking that, oh, the school is gonna make me go D1. No. The coach has to have his connections for sure, right? But you also got to play your role in the sense of you have to have the intangibles, right? You got to be hardworking, right? You got to have proof.
Yep.
Like you are who you say you are, right? And a lot of times, like these kids say, "Oh yeah, I'm going D1," and then you see them, and it sucks, right? Because now, like, I'll see a kid that, like, you know, he had potential, but he wants to go this way, he wants to go that way, and you see him and you ask him, "Hey, what are you up to right now? Like, where you at?" And you know,
Don't have anything to say.
there's a lot going on, doing too much.
doing too much.
All different ways. Last question I have for you. Who's the best basketball player to come out of Stanford that you've seen with your own eyes? There's some names on there.
The best basketball player to come out of Stanford that I've seen with my own eyes.
Because you know there's some dudes before our time.
Before our time.
I remember Cobb was a beast, and he used to come back. And
With the church shoes and the
we gotta tell them about that real quick. There's Ernie Cobb.
Ernie Cobb.
Ernie Cobb. He played professionally. He came back.
Boston
he was
College.
Probably, 40 something when he played
At the
against us?
time.
He's 46, 47.
46, pushing 50.
But he's
He would
Big
come back.
body.
like that.
He would practice with us, and we were in high school, and he would bust our ass. And he would, it was unforgiving. He didn't care when we were in high school. Buckets.
You stepped on the court, but that's the difference.
Yeah, he was different.
That's how it's supposed to be, though.
But that different is what it takes to, you know what I'm saying, to get there.
Yeah.
And like you can see even at that old age, he didn't lose it. That's something that's just in you. Either you have it or you don't. And no coach can be like, hey Ross, there's a little Jeff over there. He got some talent, but he needs a dog in him.
Right.
Ross can't.
There's nothing Ross
I
can
can't
do.
push you to be a dog. Yeah.
Because even if I try to push you, I'm not gonna be receptive to it because I'm soft already.
Yep.
Right? So
I'm gonna need you to
Ernie
pause.
was different.
Need you to pause that.
The best player to come out of Stanford.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna give it to Tevin Baskin.
Okay.
Tevin Baskin.
I'm gonna give it to Tevin Baskin. You got to give respect to where it's due. I think as a player, Tevin was
Shout out to Tevin.
a specimen. Shout out to Tevin. Tevin was a specimen, just athleticism through the roof. And Tevin is one of those guys that actually did the work, right? So Tevin he did it the right way, let's say. So he started off here on the local teams. And then he outgrew the local teams and he went off to a national team, right? But a lot of the times the kids do the opposite. They try to go on the team before they're even ready. And they end up going on these well-known teams, but they're playing on the BC team. They're not on the select team.
They holding the bench.
And if you're good enough, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you're good enough, they'll find you. So Tevin's playing on a local team. He's dunking maybe 7th grade, like crazy. Now the New York Gauchos, they see this kid and they're like, listen, it's time. All right, he went over there to New York. He did his thing. He represented Connecticut, played Division I basketball. He ended up being an assistant coach at a few Division I schools, and most recently, he's worked with the Brooklyn Nets. So I look at what you did on the court, and I look at what you did off the court. His resume, I'm looking at his resume.
It's crazy.
And his skill. His skill and his resume, they match up.
Yep.
So I'm giving it to Tevin.
He didn't just leave it on the court.
No.
Yeah.
It's off the court.
Yeah.
You can see it.
He kept it going after he was done playing.
For sure. For sure.
Shout out to Tev.
Shout out to Tev.
Yeah.
Congratulations too, by the way, big dog.
Yo, congrats.
Congrats, my man. Oh, that was episode 32.
Yes, sir.
That's it, man.
Shout out to the one and only Jeff Desir. Jeff, give him your tags
Handles,
and your
all
handles,
of that.
everything.
Everything at One Up Institute. You can find me on Instagram at One Up Institute, our website, oneup.institute, and Facebook, One Up Institute. We got a 4-week basketball camp coming up June 19th. We're looking to kick off the summer really strong. There's a lot of stuff that we got in store. We got new weights. We got new shooting machines. We got players coming in. Different coaches are going to stop by, give their insight on different things. And I just look forward to the new guys that are coming into the gym. And I'm looking forward to the old guys that's been with us as well, the college guys that we've had, and also the high school and middle school kids.
Hey, lock up those spots. Don't wait.
Get it in.
playing.
Don't wait.
When he
be
book
behind.
up, don't look crazy. He's telling you right now.
Yeah.
And the side step on that, same for us.
Better.
That might be too late.
That might be too late. It's too late for us.
Hey,
yo.
if you seeing this, it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
We
That's
signing
it,
out.
man.
We
Peace.
out of here.